Do we think Aaron Rodgers is going to hold up physically through 17 games? That's kind of lost in all of this. Callus or no callus? He's 40. He'll be 41 in early December, coming off of the torn Achilles tendon. Is he going to reel in his willingness to use his legs? Because when you take that step, when you plant, there goes a calf, there goes a thigh, there goes a quad, there goes some other soft tissue that your 40 going on 41-year-old body is going to say, no, you're too old for this stuff. I think it's, as the season gets longer and longer, I think it's harder and harder to look at any player and say, yeah, he'll definitely be available for every game because we know how football is. But not a lot of guys have thrived on the wrong side of 40 at the quarterback position. And he's kind of the first one going into a full season, other than Tom Brady in his final year, where he's playing 17 games.
Yeah. And movement wasn't part of Brady's, MO or his skill set. Where Rodgers, we know that is part of it. And Brady is just a bigger human being who's more of your traditional pocket passer that way. I mean, we know Rodgers is a pocket passer, but Rodgers, when he's at his best, is sitting back there, hopping, moving, waiting to shuffle up. Oh, he's open, boom, right? But I don't know if that guy exists anymore. I don't know. And I don't think that guy exists of wait in the pocket and wait for people to get open downfield. So the movement will not be the same. That's for sure. I've seen enough clips on social media and whatever else to go, he's not as fast as he was. He's still not 100% sprint speed with that Achilles. I heard Nathaniel Hackett make a comment in the news one of the last few days, kind of echoing the same thing, that, yeah, he's not as fast as he used to be. Right? So I don't think we're going to expect a lot of movement. The thing, though, Mike, that you talk about is, will he stand in there and make some big throws against some of these good AFC defenses that he'll have to face and take hits and do that, right? Not only did we talk about that he had a problem in his last year in Green Bay and had a problem the year before when he won the MVP and played the 49ers in the divisional round, what I just mentioned, right? There was plays and throws down the stretch of that year to be had, and he didn't want to do it. Will he do it? The first 3 or 4 plays of the year last year, they ran quick game. He didn't want to pull the trigger. Right? The Bills kind of dropped into zones. He had to fit it into some little tight holes. He didn't want to do it. So that is my big question. Is Rodgers what he thinks he is? Is he capable of what he thinks he is? And, yeah, can he hang in there and take shots that we know is a big question for older quarterbacks? I think it's a fair question, Mike.
One of the first clips that emerged from the book, of which I'm not getting paid to promote, is that he admits he held the ball too long on the play that got him hurt. He should have thrown it to Garrett Wilson. He waited too long.
He was open. He had other people on the other plays too where he got sacked, where it's just like, hey, you guys, it's just got to go. It's going to be tight, but it's got to go. You can't wait. Right? So, yeah, that caused a problem. And that's been his problem, is a little bit of, I go, wait, you throw the ball like this and you're this arm and this accurate? Put it in there. You're Aaron Rodgers. And, he's gotten a little scared, whatever, for that reason to make those type of throws, and especially in big moments.
This gets back to, I believe, the one metric
I hear
that
you,
allows him to
Right.
make the argument that despite only winning one Super Bowl, he's the greatest of all time. Those phenomenal, eye-popping statistical achievements.
Yeah.
Completion percentage, touchdowns, and lack of interception.
Right.
And he's not willing to take those chances.
Maybe not.
Because once those numbers start to go the wrong way, there goes the basis for the argument that he's the best. And what he needs to do this year, and I heard him talking about at some point, maybe it was during one of the many podcasts that I wish I had those hours of my life back listening for something worth posting on PFT, but when he had the calf injury, and he had to stay in the pocket,
right?
He had to restrain himself. It's almost like having that restrictor plate on the NASCAR engine. That allowed him to be a pure pocket passer because he had no choice.
Yeah.
I think they need him to do that now, and he needs to morph into the Tom Brady chuck and duck. The walls are closing in. The 3 interceptions he threw in the NFC Championship game at Green Bay that the Packers should have come back and won, because Brady, in lieu of getting hit and potentially getting injured by a guy literally half his age, he just got rid of the ball. And when you get rid of the ball to avoid the hit, it might be an interception. which, there's another interception. There's another interception. Brady didn't care. Brady just wanted to survive and keep playing. He was willing to turn the ball over, even in the NFC Championship. That mindset kind of starts to have to creep in. If Rodgers is going to keep playing beyond his 40th birthday, he's got to become what Brady was, where I'm making a quick read, I'm getting rid of the ball, I'm trusting what I see, to hell with the consequences, and if I feel like I'm about to get crushed by a guy because I'm not going to try to run away from him and strain a calf muscle or pop an Achilles tendon again, I'm just going to throw the ball up for grabs or throw it wherever, and if it gets caught by the other team, so be it. At least I didn't get hit.
Yeah, there's a fine line there. There is, and he's got to find that point that makes sense for him and the quality of, yes, his health status and his body, and then also the football team, right? We've talked about this a lot. We talked about it with Brady a lot, right? When you get to this part of your life, the upper 30s, low 40s there, the biggest thing, through football history is, will those guys stand in there and be willing to take the hits? And with Brady, right, I do think he found the fine line. Let's not forget that first year in Tampa, remember? Arians called him out a few times for being a little too ducky and chucky and a little bit like, I just checked it down. And he's like, what? Take another hitch step. Mike Evans is open for a 50-yard touchdown. What are we checking it down for? So he kind of worked Brady into finding that fine line there. But that was a problem with Brady in New England. Even the year before he went to Tampa, there was no waiting for anything to develop. I'm just going to make the smart play. I'm going to keep us in a good position and all that. Sure, that's great. But as we're seeing right now, the guys that are winning Super Bowls, they ain't checking it down. That ain't happening. That's no check downs here. Brady didn't check it down much the year he won it and got to the Super Bowl, and he's pretty aggressive, even though he found that fine line like you're talking about. Of course, we know Mahomes, the check down is like, it's like, oh my gosh, he checked it down. I can't believe that. And then we know Matthew Stafford, right? On top of that. None of those Stafford and Mahomes are not known for their check down ability. I can tell you that much. That's where the game is won right now. Big plays in the pass game, explosive plays. That's where it is, and that to me is where Rodgers drops the ball a little bit compared to the upper echelon quarterbacks in the league and that are playing right now.
There's a fearlessness regarding the consequences of throwing that ball into coverage. That interception, again, it's going to drag down the one calling card that you have to allow others to make the argument, or yourself in private moments, that you're better than any of them because look at my stats. And we've always had that concern. You've been saying that for years. When he comes to the postseason, he's maybe hyper aware of the consequences of postseason turnovers and is less decisive even in the playoffs than he is at times in the regular season. So I just think that if he wants to get through all 17 games, he's got to ditch the movement. He's got to stay in the pocket. He's smart. We'll stipulate that he's smart. By this point in his life, with everything he has seen as a starting quarterback in the NFL since 2008, he surely can diagnose a play at the line of scrimmage. He surely knows who's going to be open. He's got to process and trust. It's got to be instinctive. He can't let his brain get in the way of his instincts. I think he'd be served well by that. Of course, I'm not the one that has to pin my legacy to it, so it's easy for me to say, but that's my opinion. Trust your instincts. Don't overthink it. Just go out and play.
Hopefully they can run the ball. Hopefully that O-line stays healthy and can protect them. Hopefully they play a style of football, honestly, that's not just all – Aaron Rodgers, let's just throw it quick so the completion percentage is high and all of that, right? I'd love to see a little bit of like, hey, why does everything have to be quick and get it out and do all that? I'd like to see Aaron Rodgers, hey, fake it to Breece Hall, get back there. Hey, we keep an extra guy in to protect, and we let Garrett Wilson work down the field, and we attack that way. That's the Aaron Rodgers I want to see a little bit more. That's the Aaron Rodgers when he was doing stuff like that. He was the one of the greatest I've ever seen. But somewhere, in that 2019, 2020 year, it changed over a little bit, that mindset, and it became definitely a little bit more close to the vest as far as decisions and throws. And, I don't think it's hard to win a Super Bowl that way right now.
Okay, you have a chance to win $1 million in the NBC sweepstakes on Yahoo Fantasy. Just download the redesigned Yahoo Fantasy app or go to NBCSports.com/fantasymillion for additional details. What are you waiting for?
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.